All right, so let's get started. So in the CAS 360 Singapore Level 2 session, we're going to cover more topics on your other features and advanced features, including your reports. So in lesson number 1, we'll learn how to manage and also prepare a range of reports that can easily summarize and display information across your companies, which includes your company report, people group report, and also generating a full set of company registers set. In lesson number 2, we'll learn how to take control and manage your annual returns, your AGM documents, and also your company status change, which will essentially affect the way you prepare your annual returns and AGM for your clients. We're also going to learn how to prepare the annual returns and AGM documents itself, and also preparing XBRL financial statements in your CAS 360 using our XBRL tool. In your lesson number 4, we'll touch on one of our tools on your navigation toolbar called the multi-company changes, which allows you to do a multi-company change for multiple companies, which includes officer addresses and officer changes. For those of you who are using a digital signing tool, we're going to cover on your digital signing in CAS 360, including how we managed and also activate your integration of your accounting, or rather your signing tools onto CAS 360. And lastly, your settings. So in this topic, we'll have an overview of what you can find in your settings tab, which includes customizing the look and feel of your document templates, your email templates, email settings, and also how to set up your automated reminders. So once again, for those of you who have just joined into the sessions, the manual of today's training can be found on the webinar chats. If you have any questions, kindly post it in the Q&A sections, and we will answer it as well. All right, so I'll go straight to my CAS 360. So I'm sure that a lot of you are already familiar with logging into the software. So just a very quick recap. All your navigations and your features can be found on the left-hand side of the tool. Your company selection is where you can locate all the companies that you're managing. To go into your company's profile, simply click on the company to see all the details. And on the top right corner is your resource hub as well. So we'll jump straight to your reports. For those of you who are also looking to your manual, it's on the page 5 of your manual. So in the lesson number 1, we're going to learn how to prepare different types of reports, which includes your company reports, people group report, and also setting or generating the full company register set. To generate reports, you can find this in your navigation toolbar under the Reports tool. Aside from those 3 reports, you can find different types of reports, including your annual return listings, company listings. You also have your registrable controllers, document status, and so on. So for lesson 1, we're going to learn this exercise on how to generate a company report ready for you to view the information of your client's database. So under the company reports, select company report. And in company reports, you have 2 tabs right over here. So you have the reports filters and report settings. The report filters allows you to filter based on the jurisdiction. So if you want to, for example, to only generate based on Singapore clients, You can simply filter based on Singapore. You can also filter according to your filing agent. Generally, it will be your corpus. If you are using multiple corpuses, you can simply select that under your agents. You can also adjust your report date. For example, if you want to find out the information of the company 6 months before, you can simply change the dates over here under your report date. Company status options. This allows you to select whether you want to generate in your company report, including the strike-off or dormant. If you do not wish to do that, you can simply untick. Otherwise, you can tick off. This will filter the companies that were listed. This is also for your current clients only. If it's a current client, you can switch on and off the toggle. Position holdings, you can select whether you want to display based on only current positions or current officers or members, or if you want to display historical officers and members, you can simply select all. Labels, so you remember and you recall that you can select based on level on labels. And also download options. If you want to combine the files into single file or different files for each of the reports. On the report settings, you also have the option what kind of information that you want to display for the company report. So for example, if you do not want to display the public officers, you can simply switch off that toggle button. And if you want to switch it back, you can simply switch it on again. You also notice that some of these option has advanced option that allows you to adjust the filter, whether to show the previous company address in your company report. For company officers, you have the ability to adjust to display the officers' addresses, alternate address, date of birth, and place of birth. So if you do not wish to display this information into your report, you can simply switch off that toggle as well. Similarly, for your members or shareholders, you have the ability to display the shareholder's address. Otherwise, if you do not wish to display or disclose this information in your report, you can simply switch off that toggle button. Once you have set up the settings, you can simply save the settings and ready to generate your company reports. So click on My Reports, and here I can select the companies that I wish to generate the report. So for example, I can use Leaf Green, the same company that we were working on. And I have an option to select and export it either PDF or Word. So I'm just going to select the PDF. So you can see over here, based on as of today, these are the informations that I have pulled out from my CAS 360, including the company's date, company type, my company addresses, company officers, which also displays whether it's appointed or ceased. So if you recall earlier on, I wanted to display not only my current officers, but also my ceased officers. I have my shareholders or members. This company over here, we have a nominee shareholders, registrable controllers, and your business activities. So by adjusting your settings and report settings, this will allow you to display the information that you want to display in your company reports. So the next report that's very useful as well is generating a report on a contact level, or what we call the people group report. This is a great way for you to know if you want to manage the information of your clients for your due diligence or even for your passport details. You can export it under your people group report. So again, we have report filters. You can filter based on a report date. You also have the ability to show company number if you want to generate a contact base or a individual based on like a company, and also to select whether their current holdings or also their historical position in holdings. So I use an example of, let's say, David Tan. This is one of the examples here. And I can simply select this contact to generate a report. So here it will display to me the information that I have recorded for this particular contact. I have my address. This particular contact doesn't have a previous address, so it will not display. Its current office position in multiple companies, whether he has been appointed or resigned. You also have his shareholdings in multiple companies. So at the moment, this is his attachment to any of the companies in CAS 360. So use another example. Probably this will be another good example over here. So again, the process is similar. You can choose to select with PDF or Word. So this is another good example. You have your current address and previous address, officer's position, which includes the historical positions, shareholding, and you also have your registrable controller and representative of a particular firm. So this is a great way for you to keep track of whether this contact is firstly in use, and secondly, what are the historical transactions or alliances or relationship with the companies in your CAS 360. Now, the next report that you want to go through will be your company register set. So company register set can be found under your company registers. And the full company register set allows you to not only generate individual registered, but also a full set of all this register in one single document. To generate the full register set, simply click on this selection. And again, you have the ability to do the filters based on jurisdiction, agents, report date, and labels. You also have the ability to select which register that you want to include in that document pack. So for example, if I do not wish to select and show my register of auditors, I can simply switch on or off the toggle button. So I want to display the rest, including my director shareholdings, officers, members, my registrable controllers, nominee, and shareholders. Once I've done that, click Save, and you're now ready to export the document. So here in this section, you have the option to select whether single PDF per company or multiple PDF per company. So here I'll just select a single PDF. So first I'm going to select a company. And now select single PDF. So this will bring you to the notification showing that your registers are now being exported. You will be notified through your notification when the files are ready for download. So here in your notification tool, you will see that in your bell icon, it will display to you that your register is now ready for download. To complete the download, click on the download, and this will allow you to open up your documents. So because I've selected a single PDF, so all my register will be saved in one single PDF file. Now, if you wish to generate the reports on a multiple PDF, essentially it will separate different files for each registers. So this is how we generate a full company register set on CAS 360. Now, the next lesson is we're going to cover on the topic of your annual returns, which includes your annual return alerts, annual return listing reports, and also managing the company status, which will essentially have an impact to your annual return process. Here, we're going to go back to the main dashboard. So you can either click on the BGL icon over here. So now that we're having some February released, if you recall yesterday on my training, every time we release a new features, this will pop up as well. So you can simply view that later on, or you can always come back by using our help guide over here. Now go back to my main dashboards, and we're gonna first cover on the topic of annual returns and AGM alerts. So in your main dashboards, you will see on the left-hand side of your screen, below your advanced filters, we also have what we call the alert filters. Now, a very good tip when using these filters is to first simply select your other jurisdiction to Singapore to help you navigate specifically to Singapore-specific alerts, whether it's an AGM, annual returns, AML CDD, or document deadline. So the beauty of the alerts in CAS 360 that it will help you manage your important deadlines, particularly your AGM and your annual returns. So each of these alerts can be expanded to help you select a specific type of alert in that category. So for example, if you're selecting under AGM, you'll be able to find financial year-end date approaching, AGM due, and also AGM due past. Similarly, on your annual return alerts, you can select based on annual return due, upcoming, date has passed, process not filed, or process not filed and already overdue. Each of these alerts will have also actions that will be suggested. For example, if I'm selecting AGM due, so we have 6 companies have AGM due, you can mouse over onto that alert to view the type of actions or steps required for this particular alert. So you can see over here that 18th September, company is required to hold an AGM very soon on the 31st of March, and an AGM reminder has been sent on the 18th of 9th, 2024. And these are the required actions that you can do in relation to your alerts. So either you will prepare an AGM if this particular company is required to prepare or do an AGM documents, applied extensions, exempted for holding, or send another reminder. So you select one of these. So for example, this company is exempted for holding AGM. This will bring you to a specific page in CAS 360. So similarly for annual returns as well. So if I were to filter, so let me just filter back to Singapore. If I have annual return that already due or upcoming, for example, date has passed. This is an example of annual returns that's already overdue, already passed, which means that we need to quickly prepare the annual returns. So this is a great way for you to keep track. What are the actions that you need to do in relation to the alerts that you have selected? A very quick practice as well is that if you are unfamiliar of what each of the color represents, you can always go to this particular icon over here next to your alerts. This will give you an understanding guide of how to navigate different alerts. Each of the alert will have different representations. So for example, this particular color, lavender over here, which represents a financial year end date approaching, it will calculate based on 30 days before the financial year end. So before I proceed, any questions so far on this specific alerts? All right. Now I'm just going to cover this particular one alert over here under annual return alerts, which is process not filed or process not filed overdue. So essentially, these particular ones, sometimes you'll get this in your client who you already processed and filed the annual return, but in the system, it still shows as process not filed. So to do that, if you want to make sure that this particular company already processed it, you can simply change the status of the document. Similarly, in your returns tab, all your annual returns, if you already file or process those documents and lodge it to ACRA, you can always go to the annual returns and mark as filed. So this way, you will get a much more accurate alerts in your alert filters. To find out more information of the different alerts, you can find this on your page 50 of your manual as well. Or again, you can locate this in your Singapore Health Guide. Now, one of the prerequisite things about the annual return alerts, also to take note, is that if your company is changed to a strike-off, liquidated, inactive, or closed, you will not receive any alerts for this particular company. So an example is this 2nd of May company, private limited. The status of the company has now been strike off and changed to a strike off company. Therefore, this will not be included into your alerts. Next will be your annual return listing report. So we can generate your annual return listing in CAS 360 to manage your annual returns. This particular report can be found in your Reports tab and select Annual Return Listing. Again, you have the ability to do the filters. And in the annual returns, you can change the report order based on annual return dates, company name, and so on. You can also manage based on the annual return year. So if you want to select or do 2024 first, you can do that. Select the annual return period range. So here I've got from January 1st until the 31st of that year. Agent, you can also select the company status and also the annual return status. So for example, if you want to remove companies that have not required to process, you can simply remove that and not include into your annual return listing reports. So here you can select all companies. Otherwise, you can select any of the company you wish to select. So for this exercise, I'm going to select all companies. And again, I have the option to select PDF or Excel. I'm gonna use another annual return years. See, it should show all my list right over here. So you can see you have the company number. You also have the labels, return due, return status, and status date. So also it's very important that you need to fill up your return dues, annual return due dates in your CAS 360 to be able to display this information. If you recall how to manage your key dates, you can simply go to the company selection, select the company, and make sure that all these company dates are up to date. So this is how we generate an annual return listing report in CAS 360. Next I want to go through is on your company status change. Now, in the company status change, we will learn how to prepare the relevant forms and documents, changing a company status. This will also determine the type of annual return documents for this particular company and the relevant text that will appear on your annual returns and AGM documents. To update the status of the company, let's say, for example, this 2nd of May company, I want to change the status. I could simply click on active. And I've set it as small company group. So there are also cases when, for example, you have a client that has switched from a standard company to a small group company. This particular this particular step is very important because you need to make sure to select whether it's small company group so that your annual return informations and report will display the right questionnaires and declaration. This step is important as a prerequisite when you are preparing annual returns. So I use another example as well over here. Let's say I want to resign this company. I can simply go to my company status, select strike off. This will automatically enable my prepare forms for me to strike off this company. So here I will have to select the prerequisite steps and declaration before I can prepare my strike off documents. After going through the process, this will bring you to your document production. As you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, you have the company status change to strike off. And this will generate the relevant forms, including your consent to strike off applications. You also have your director minutes and resolutions. Members minutes. And your director's consent to strike off application. Now, once you have prepared all these documents, again, you have the option to either download the documents or send directly to your client. As you recall, when you're downloading or sending the documents, this will be saved into the Documents tab of your company. So once I've clicked Saved, this company's status has now changed to a strike-off company. So any questions so far for this particular process, this topic on the company status change? All right. If there's no questions, we're going to proceed to the next topic, your page number 25, lesson number 3 on the annual return, AGM, and XBR. So in this topic, we're going to learn how to prepare your annual returns and also your AGM documents ready for your clients. We're also going to learn how to prepare your XBRL financial statement notes using our XBRL tool. So back in your dashboard, you'll need to go to your navigation toolbar. And here we will select this fourth icon over here under returns. Now the returns tool allows you to view all the upcoming annual returns that you need to process. You also have different type of filters. You can filter based on the financial year and date. For example, if you want to have it on the 21, January to 21, you see that you have lesser companies. So I'm just going to put let's say 220. And you also have a filter that allows you to filter based on annual return overdue. So here in my example, I have 42 annual returns overdue. Now, in the annual returns sections, in each of the company, you will also see this tool over here called options. Under the options, you have the ability to, for example, to when you process a company's annual return and you want to indicate this is already marked as filed, even if it's not recorded in CAS 360, you file it directly to ACRA. You can make sure to mark it as filed. If it's not required to file, you can simply put it as marked as filed, but not required. Now, first, before we prepare the annual returns, we're going to learn how to prepare the XBR. So under this Singapore annual returns, select the options and click Prepare XBR. This will notify you to open and start your XBRL. And for those of you who haven't downloaded your XBRL preparation tool, you will be required to download the preparation on your workstations or your laptop before you can proceed with your XBRL. So here's an example for me. I've already installed it, so I will click on Open Start. And that will enable and open my XBRL preparation tool. For the starters, you will see that in the beginning, you will be prompted to enter your CAS 360 username and BGL token key to validate. So how do we navigate and get this is simply you'll have to go back to your CAS 360, go to your app switchers, users, I'm going to go back again. And select your token management. So when you're in your users, if you're not able to see this particular line token management, it means your role type settings doesn't allow you to have access to the token management. So it's important to reach out to your CAS 360 or your account owner or administrator to give you access if you are the person responsible for preparing the XBRL. So here I'll select a token management. And I've got over here an example. My token has already expired for XBRL. So I need to regenerate a new token to allow me to open my XBRL. Simply copy the code. You will see that the valid, this code will only be valid on the 23rd of March 2025. So after the expiry, you will need to regenerate the code again to access to your XBRL tool. So I'll go back to my XBRL preparation tool. So I'm just going to over here. And validate. Once you validate, you will see that you'll get a notification that says XBRL financial statement for the companies in CAS 360 firm, CAS Training Singapore. So this is the name of my organization, my practice. And you can simply tick the I confirm. The list is above is correct firm required for XBRL. And click Save. This will then allow you to enter and use and start using your XBRL tool. Now, in the XBRL tool, you have the ability to prepare a new XBRL from the beginning, or if you have an existing file, you can simply upload it here. You also notice that here on my XBRL example, it will display to me the company that I'm preparing XBRL for, and also the user who's preparing this XBRL. So to create a new XBRL, simply click on New, and this will display to you the informations and fields that you require to fill up when you're preparing XBRL. In the XBRL filing informations, you can filter whether it's a full XBRL or simplified. And by selecting it to a simplified version, you can see that the informations that needs to be filled up will also change based on the type of SCRL that you have selected. If you are using a full XBRL, for example, you can see that again, a notification will appear if you want to change the XBRL settings. This will display back to full XBRL. So for full XBRL, you have the option to select the full set of financial statements by simply clicking onto this notepad, copy and paste the text into here and click Save. For example, I'll just type in any information here. So under the notes, you can add in various notes depending on the the type of XBRL settings you have selected. And once you have prepared all your XBRL, you can either save for later or you can save and upload. Now, another option to do XBRL is when you already have an existing XBRL file from your previous year. So you can simply do that by simply clicking Open All. So this is an example. So you can see over here, if you notice, when I upload that particular file, it would show me the notification it didn't match. Reason being is because you can see over here that the name of the company I'm working on is not similar to the XBRL file that I have selected. So I'm just going to close this back and I will select the other company. So again, you'll go to your returns. Here, I'll select this company over here. I'll go to my options and click Prepare XBRL Financial Statement to open my XBRL tool. Now, if you recall, I've already put in my username and token key, so I will no longer add in those information to open my XBRL. So the second option is uploading your XBRL file. So I'm just going to quickly select my XBRL. Unfortunately, this one is not working at the moment, but So this will show up the information from your previous XBRL, your existing XBRL. So you can see over here that I've got this particular file. It's prepared under a full XBRL. So all my informations have been displayed. You can simply change and update your notes if you got additional notes over here. And once you've processed that, you can simply validate and upload. Now I'm going to show to you much more because I don't have an active company right now to prepare an XBRL. So I'll show you an example, another example of the XBRL and how we really processed it using our XBRL tool. So again, you have to select prepare financial XBRL financial statement under your annual returns. This will open up your XBRL. If your token has yet to expire, you can access to the tool. So this is an option for you to create from scratch or open up a new XBRL. So you can see over here that the figures did not match. It's out of balance. The XBRL tool is able to identify that as well. So the other option is uploading the XBRL file. And this will automatically change the type of information displayed in your XBRL report. So you can see now it's no longer a full XBRL. It has been updated to simplified XBRL. So this will include all the informations, including your income statements, the notes, and you can simply run a validation to validate your XBRL before submitting to us. So this is an example if your XBRL validation has failed and you have an error. To view, simply click on the validation report. And this validation report or the report provided from Accra itself to display what are the errors that found during the validation process. So an example over here in this validation that there is an incorrect date fields in your report. So the preparer needs to amend the dates. You also have the ability to download the XBRL report itself as your copy. So these are the information that's been exported out from your XBRL preparation tool. So what you simply need to do is to correct your genuine errors to make sure the information matches true and correct. So here, the user is simply just updating the date as it didn't match up. And when there's no longer an error, it will show to you that this has been validated and no error has been found. That your validation is successful. So you can either download the copy as well of your XBRL financial report. And you can select I confirm that XBRL to upload. And this will upload to Accra as well. So you receive a XBRL successfully uploaded. Please proceed with your annual return filing process. And you're ready to do your annual returns and AGM. So that's how we process the XBRL. Unfortunately, I will not be able to show you the real thing because we will need an active XBRL to perform the whole process. So just a very quick thing also in your XBRL tool. So first you have your validation report to validate, to check whether there's any genuine error. This validation is tapping onto Accra's validation system. And so it's a real-time validation. So all this error that we're receiving is coming from Accra itself. So you have also the option to generate the reports, whether it's AGM copy, XBRL document summary, taxonomy, or both. And you can do either the previous reports or balance forwards as well. In your settings, you have the option to also check in your settings, whether you want to round off the informations, labels to print, whether it's only taxonomy or both, to display in your XBRL report. So that's how we use your preparation of XBRL using the CAS 360 XBRL tool. Now, in CAS 360, you also have an option to do a validation. So let's say you use ACRA's preparation tool. You've already processed the XBRL and you just want to simply run another validation. You can simply process that by going into the Options tab and select Upload. So again, this process, this will bring you to your SwingPass. So you will require to add in your SwingPass information so that ACRA can help you validate your XBRL file before submitting it to ACRA. If they found any errors into your CAS 360, or rather your errors into that XBRL, when you're running the validation using the CAS 360 XBRL, you will be prompted to open up your CAS 360 XBRL preparation tool to update and correct your genuine errors. So that's how we prepare the XBRL. Now, once you've done up your XBRL, the next step is preparing your annual returns and AGM ready for filing. So on your page 34 of your manual, you can find more information on this topic. And the objective for this exercise is we're going to learn more on how we prepare the documentations, particularly on your annual return reports and also your AGM documents. So here an example, these are the example of the companies that I will need to prepare AGM. They're already overdue. So you can see. And you've also noticed that each of this company will have this button called Prepare Documents. So when you are preparing a AGM documents, you will need to click this button over here called Prepare Documents. Before they bring you to the document production, you'll also go through the different prerequisite questions relating to the annual return information for this company. So for example, you will have over here, is the company a small company exempted to audit? If it's exempted, you can simply click on the toggle icon. If the company is financial statement audited, if it's no, this will then disable you to fill up the information for the auditor. Otherwise, if the company is required a financial statement audited, you need to switch it on and fill up your auditor's information. Right below, you can see this is also where you can select whether a company is required to do an AGM. So you have different questionnaires, answers, whether it's yes, it's required to hold AGM. And if this company does not require an AGM, you can simply select either of these three options over here as your AGM declaration. So for example, this company doesn't require for AGM as the financial statement has been sent to the members with no AGM required. So you want to make sure that you fill up the financial statements as well and when it was sent to your members. Another important thing that you'll take note as well before you can proceed with the AGM documents is your annual return minutes data. All the information that you want to declare in your AGM members minutes and director minutes and resolution, you will need to make sure to fill this thing up under your annual return minutes data. This will include if the auditor has been reappointed for this particular annual return filing, the currency, if there's any profit and loss, dividends, remunerations, and so on. An example over here, I've got a director's fee for this particular director. I need to also disclose the re-election of director, can simply select that. I can also add in the remuneration, for example, CPF, for example, and I can just add in the amount. This portion over here is very important step before you prepare AGM documents, minutes, data. It's because that if you don't fill up this information, this will not be displayed in your director minutes and resolution and members minutes and resolution. So once I've done that, you can either save. For this case, we will save and prepare as we want to prepare the necessary AGM documents. So here for my AGM, it will bring me to my document production page. It will display also the type of action that I'm doing for this company. For this case, I'm preparing the annual return for this company on this particular financial year end. And you can see that we have a couple of documents as well for you to be able to prepare, which includes your annual return reports. So all these informations are based on your company data that you have added into that company profile. And all the information that you have declared during the annual return data process before we prepare this document itself. Now, something that I want to highlight as well is that in your annual return reports, you have this information called Register of Controllers and Nominee Directors. Now, if you recall yesterday's training, that you can declare or display where the location of that particular register for registrable controllers and nominee directors. If this particular information has to show the actual address itself, it's not on the registered office as per your information, you need to make sure that in that company example, I will select, let's say, that same company. And right over here under my address, I need to make sure that my registrable controllers has an address on that. If there's no address on that, if the location of the register is not the same as your registered office address, by default, it will show to you the registrable controller and nominee directors register are kept in your registered office, which is what has been recorded here. See, again, if it's a different location, make sure to update it on your registrable controller address and nominee director registered address before you process the annual return and AGM documents. I'll go back to that particular company. So again, I'll go to my prepared documents. All this information are still over here. Click Save and Prepare. So that's for the annual return report that you'll be declaring and sharing. So this is a great way for you to also see before you even file to ACRA for your annual reports for that client. It gives you an overview of what are the information that you've recorded in CAS 360. Now, over here, some documents like your director minutes and resolutions. Over here, you have your audit exemption, if it's a small company exempted, declarations, directed unaudited financials, AGM, your director's fee. So if you recall earlier on, we filled up the annual return minutes data. So this information will also display in your members' minutes and resolutions. So use an example as well for here. So this is another example. So I'm going to use another example based on a different type of settings. So you can see we have the solvent, insolvent, EPC as well. If there's an EPC, you will need to select that. If it's financial statement not audited, for example, you can simply switch it off. I don't need to put in my auditor. So I have an example over here. I've got profit and loss, remunerations, my director's fee as well, and save and prepare. So again, depending those information you display, it will enable the documents that require for you to prepare. If you need to prepare, for example, the solvency resolution, you can always switch on that particular document to include your AGM document pack. If that particular company is exempted from audit requirements, you also have the ability to do that by switching on the declaration. Once you're ready, you can now simply download the document or send to your client for signing. So in that document pack, this will include for you your annual returns, and also all your AGM documents. Now, if you need to change or amend your text, we will be covering this a little bit later in your document templates under this topic of settings. So all this text paragraph can still be customizable before you even prepare your AGM documents. So this is how we prepare your annual returns and also the AGM documents under your returns feature tab. Now, any questions before we proceed? All right. All right. So the next topic that we'll cover is on your page 44 of your manual, which is your multi-company changes. So CAS 360 has the ability to give the users to prepare documents for multiple companies that are going through the same changes or details, particularly on change of registered office address and also officers changes. So again, we'll click on your BGL icon over here to bring you to the main dashboard. For this exercise, we're going to go to our navigation toolbar, and this time around, we'll select this tool over here called multiples. So under the multiples, you can see here, I've not done any multiple changes for any companies. So you simply select the new changes and select the type of multiple change that you'd like to apply. So for this exercise, we're going to change the registered office address. So here, under the company address change, I will select registered address. I'll type in a company that I want to change address, for example, CAS Singapore company. And this will show to me that this is the current address of that company. And let's assume I will move it to 5 Changi Business Park. And you can see that you have the ability to also update, put in your date of resolutions. Now, as you scroll the way down, you have different types of questionnaire. Is the premise occupied by someone other than the company? If yes, you can simply click onto that and you can just add in the office occupier. Otherwise, if none, you can skip this part. Under options, it will also detect whether this particular address is shared across different types of addresses, whether it's business address, postal, meeting, or registers. If you want to apply this, for example, business address, but not in postal, you can just switch on which addresses that you want to apply this change for. Aside from that, it's also able to detect if this particular address over here is not just shared or used by CAS 360 Singapore, but also shared by other company registered address. So you can see that this address is used by 3 other companies, and it's also used by 2 other contacts. So I'll do one example over here. This is a very good exercise, especially if you are the CorpSec provider for multiple companies and your clients is using your address as a registered office address. This will save you a lot of time in terms of preparing the resolutions for the change of registered address for multiple companies. So here I can simply switch on the toggle button if I want to apply the change for this multiple companies. And I'll just keep this as switched off. I don't want to apply this to multiple contacts for now. Once I'm happy with my settings, I can simply click on proceed. Automatically under your multi-changes tab, you can see over here that you have different companies, not just CAS 360 Singapore, but other addresses, other companies who shares the same address as well. So you can simply click on prepare forms to prepare the necessary company address change, not just for this one company, CAS 360 Singapore, as you can see here, but you can also prepare it for other companies that share the same registered address. So this saves a lot of time, especially if you're moving an office and you do need to update your client's registered office address, should they be using your firm's office address as a registered address? Now, the next exercise for the multi-company change will be your officers change. So again, in the same page of your multi changes, you can simply click on the new changes. And for this, you will need to select under company changes, officer change. So use an example of David Tan. This will automatically pull out his information. And I want to resign David Tan as a director. To do that, I can simply click on this information, select the necessary changes, click next, and this will automatically identify which company that he was appointed as a director and whether I want to apply all the resignation to all the companies that he has attached to or only selected to one. So for example, over here, I've got 1 corporate and 7th August. I want to resign him to both of these companies. I can simply select those two companies and click proceed. This will automatically show to you that in this company, you have David Tan ceased as a director, and for 111 corporate company, he is also ceased as a director. So again, the step is pretty straightforward. You can simply click on prepare forms to generate the resignation letter. So this also apply not just for resignation. So I'll use another example in the same format under company changes, officer change. You can also appoint a particular person. For example, let's say I appoint the same person, David Tan, appoint him as a secretary to multiple companies. So this is usually also another good practice and also tip. If you as a service provider, you are a secretary to multiple companies, instead of going to each profile, you can simply select to multiple companies across your CAS 360. So here I've selected 2nd May, 111 corporate, 15 June, 17 August, and 17 November company. Click proceed, and automatically you will see that on those lists of companies, I've appointed him as a secretary, and I can now prepare the forms. So for this case, an example, I have resigned him as a director, but I've appointed him as a secretary instead. So you can see that not only that I have a resignation letter, but I also have my Form 49B, which is your consent to act as a secretary. Now that we are appointing this person as a secretary instead. And if you recall earlier, if you are practicing combined minutes and resolution, this is also a great way to do a combined minutes and resolution for your clients. Again, you can simply either choose to download the document or send all. So I have my resignation here as a director. And you can see in my director minutes and resolutions, I have appointment as a secretary and also resignation as a director. All right, so any questions so far for the multi-company changes? If there's no questions, I'll proceed to your next lesson, lesson number 5 on your digital signing. So the digital signing allows you to seamlessly update your document status by simply integrating your digital signing account, whether it's your View Signed, your Adobe Signed, or your, let's say, your DocuSign. You can find this setting under your app switcher and select visual integrations. Alternatively, you can find this and navigate in your settings under your electronic signing settings as well. So it's a similar process. You can see over here, we've got DocuSign and ViewSign already integrated to my account. And these are the 3 digital signing that we have integration. Currently, we have the DocuSign, the Adobe Sign, and the ViewSign. Now, some of the prerequisite information for digital signings, I'm just going to quickly click on over here. So each of digital signing, there are some prerequisite informations that you need to know when you are signing up with respective digital signing platform. So first, you need to make sure that you already have an account with either one of these signing platforms. And you also need to make sure that you have an advanced account, advanced solutions, or DocuSign, or an enterprise account with your Adobe Sign. I'm just going to quickly over here. So I'll share this particular help guide. This is to help you decide whether you want to sign up with DocuSign, Adobe Sign, and also, or ViewSign. So one of the commonly asked questions is, I already have a DocuSign or Adobe Sign, but I can't seem to use it with CAS 360. The first thing that you'll need to make sure and check with Adobe or DocuSign, for example, is what type of plan that you've purchased with them. So with Adobe Sign, for example, you need to make sure that your firm is using an enterprise account. It cannot be a standard consumer standard Adobe Sign account. It needs to be an enterprise level account. Similarly for Adobe for DocuSign, it has to be advanced solution before this allow you to enable the digital signing. So share this article as well as if you are in the process of deciding which signing platform to sign up with, you can have a look at more information in our digital signing in CAS 360. Now I'm going to go back to my to that integration part, so you can see that currently my account, I have switched on the integration for DocuSign and ViewSign. And you can see over here that I only have one active one, which is DocuSign, and my ViewSign is switched off. If your firm is using multiple digital signing accounts, do take note that you can only switch on one signing platform at a time. So you can't really make them as a default. For example, it will just switch off the other one back. Now, when you want to integrate your enterprise account with CAS 360, you'll need to click on this particular icon over here. and connect your firm's digital signing account to CAS 360. This will then appear and enable under your settings and electronic signing settings. So you can see over here in my settings, I've already synced up my firm's ViewSign account and also DocuSign account, but my default switched on account is DocuSign. All right. So this electronic signing, the digital signing, you'll need to buy a plan separately. This is not part of CAS 360. This is not within the software. So check with the respective digital signing provider among these three. And once you have purchased the right plan or you are ready to integrate, you can simply connect your electronic signing. Now, once you've connected your digital signing, so you're now ready to enable your digital signing in CAS 360. So I'll do an example. Let's use our previous company yesterday, our leaf green. And here we're just going to do a very simple reprinting of a document. So if you recall, you can simply reprint a document again in CAS 360 by simply switching on the toggle button over here. So here in this exercise, I'm simply reprinting appointment of Jennifer as a director for Leaf Green on the 19th of February. So what you'll notice in your document production page is that you will have this particular green pen over here to notify you and to show that there is a digital signing switched on into your CAS 360 account. If you wish to switch off that electronic signing, you can simply switch off that electronic signing or can simply switch on back again. In your document production as well, you have an option to set up your electronic signing options, whether you can use your ViewSign, for example, or your DocuSign. So here I'm just going to quickly put in an email. So I'm just going to use an example. And click save. So I'll be able to send this off. And each of the electronic signing as well, you have the ability to adjust filter settings, whether you require a SMS 2FA for each signatory to be sent to the mobile. And if you do not wish to switch on that features, you can simply switch off. You also have the option to email signers completed signed documents by simply switching on this toggle over here and click save. Now, when using the digital signing, you need to make sure that you're selecting the option send all instead of download. Because what you recall, when we are sending all directly from CAS 360 to your client, it will send a particular link to your digital signing documents. So an example over here is nominee directors over here. I'm just simply selecting that to send to my client. And instead of an attached document, my clients will receive an email with the review document link for me to sign. Now to preview if you have successfully sent that document, again, just a recap, you can find that in your messages under your outbox. So you can see that I've already sent out on today at 3:32 p.m. And if I want to preview that email that I've just sent to my clients, you can see over here, review documents. So I should be receiving another email. Just gonna quickly check my email and see if I've received that. So here an example over here. Just gonna quickly show to you how it looks like. Let's assume I am James Chan and I need to sign this document. I simply need to click on Review Documents, and this will bring me to my digital signing. So as a signing partner, I'm not required to have an account with the digital signing. I just simply need to click on Review Documents to sign the document. So here I'll just add in my signature. Let's say I'll just use this one. You can also use to draw. Let's say I'll just draw a dot and sign. Because it's only James Chan that is signing, they only need to sign this part of the document. You can just click on Finish. So as the signing person, I have the option to download the signed copy or email a copy to my email address or to my inbox. So if I choose to download it, it will just download into my computer. Now, as the user, so let's go back to the interface as a user. Let's say just going to refresh that. As a user, I will receive a notification from the digital signing platform. For this case, it's DocuSign, to notify me that one of my signing partners, James Chan, has already signed the document. Now we had another couple more persons to sign the documents. I'm just going to complete all those signing person as well. So I have Jenica Gunn. So again, the same process. Let's say I am Jenica. I'll have to sign all those documents. Click finish. So the same process will happen as well. You'll get a notification that this particular signing person has already signed this document. I'm just signing all this document. This is to show to you that how it will also produce in CAS 360 when all the signing partner has signed the documents. So I'll go back to my CAS 360 over here so you can see that again, I received a notification. I'm just going to close that Jenny Kagan has already signed this document. I'm just going to refresh back one more time to notify me if Jennifer has also signed this document. So you can just simply mark this as read as well, or read. So it should be showing. So you can see I have multiple more as well. And in your messages under Outbox, you can see that signed document is in progress. And now you can see that all these three signing partner has signed a document, and you will receive another notification from, for this case, DocuSign, to notify you that this particular document has been successfully signed by all your signing partners. Now, the power of this digital signing is that it actually connects to your Documents tab. So, an example, if you go to your documents, the global documents over here, you can see that the status of document has been changed from prepared or sent to client to signed by client. So again, if to preview the historical trail of this document, it will show to you that document has been prepared, document has been sent to client using DocuSign, and this document pack has been successfully signed by clients using DocuSign. So the whole digital signing enables you to cut down the extra step of managing the status of your document. So you no longer have to manage it manually, uploading the signed documents into your attachment. You can simply send it directly from CAS 360 to your client, collect the digital signatures, and automatically it will change the status of your documents. All right, so any questions so far for this topic? So questions, so I'm just going to share to you this level 2 section here in your manual. So all the way in the manual, in your digital signing section, you have different websites over here that you can go to understand more what are the different plans available. So this to help you understand what are the different package that's available. I think right now it's no longer checking. But essentially, if you want to know, like mentioned in the Q&A, you need to purchase the digital signing package separately, as it's not part of your CAS 360 account. Now I'm going back to CAS 360, and in this particular global documents over here, not only that it will update your history trail, but it also saves your signed document under attachments. So you can see over here, I have the signed document signed by all my signing partners. So I can simply preview that to see that all the respective person who needs to sign the document has signed. Aside from that, the digital signing platform usually prepare or give you a report of that particular signature. So you have a certificate of completion, record tracking, timestamp, and the envelopes. So for this case, for DocuSign, it will also indicate the envelope summary event. All right, so this is for the digital signing in CAS 360 and how it will empower your workflow using your digital signing. Now, lastly, any questions before we process, we go to the next topic? Otherwise, I'll proceed to the next and the last topic for this lesson, which is your settings tab. Now, in the settings, you have the ability to change the settings in your CAS 360, including customizing the templates and emails, and also your reminders. So under settings, if you recall, this is also where you can add in your lodgement agent. So if you're getting started with the software, always make sure to set up your corpus first so that you can utilize your Accurate import. And in different tabs, you can find your document templates, email templates. You also have this SMS template. This is much more, this is not so much for Singapore. This is usually for Australia at the moment. You also have the email settings, your electronic signing settings, which earlier I've just gone through, and automated reminders. Now, before I go through the settings for the document template, because I'm sure that this is something that quite a number will request. And so I want to have a look at onto this email settings. Now, the email settings have the ability for you to adjust how you want to be sending your email and whether you want to CC other person in the email when you're sending some of the documents directly from CAS 360 to your client. So here an example over here, if I want my name to be displayed instead of my email address, which is based on my username, I can simply switch on. So instead of showing from my firm, for example, Gen Training Singapore, that's the name of my organization or my firm, I want my client to receive based on my full name, my user full name. And if you recall in your document review tool, so documents that are set for review, you can also select whether you send it from a reviewer or from the preparer. In the email settings, you had also the options to switch on and off whether you use the username as reply to address. As you recall that your username is based on your email address. So if you wish for your client to reply to that email, you can simply switch on the toggle button as well. So by default, then your email address will be no reply at cas360.com.sg. And you can also CC other of your team members if you're required. And some of my quick tip as well, let's say you want to know exactly how it shows up into your inbox. If you're sending directly from CAS 360 to your client's inbox, you can simply CC yourself in here or BCC yourself. Now, another option over here that you can see at the top right is using a custom email address to send emails from CAS 360. So if your firm is using a general email address, for example, corpsec@abccompany.com.sg, then you can set that up as your custom email address. So instead of no reply at CAS 360 appearing in your client's inbox, it will display your organization's email address. Do note that you can only use one email address. We cannot have multiple users' email address. So the best practice is to select one single general email address from your firm that has all network access to other emails addresses as well. So other users can access to that inbox of that general email. So that's for email settings in CAS 360. Now, next will be your document templates for here. Now, in CAS 360, you can customize and use your organization master template, your own templates to apply across all the companies in CAS 360. In the document template, first you'll need to select the jurisdiction. By default, it will select Singapore. Now, if you are working on a different jurisdiction, for example, you want to customize template specifically for clients in Australia, you can simply select Australia, for example. And you can see the list of documents that you can customize will also change. Similarly for Singapore. Now, a very good practice when it comes to document templates is always go to your help guide and use Singapore help. And select CAS dictionary. This will give you not only the codes for your templates, but also the list of documents that you can customize onto CAS 360. So for this case, we will click on Global on Document Templates. And in this list over here, you will see these are the Singapore documents that can be customizable onto CAS 360, which will include your director minutes and resolution. So I'll share this particular link on your webinar chat so you have a bit of familiarity on what are the documents you can customize for CAS 360 Singapore companies. So in this list, these are essentially a collection of all the merge fields or like codes that you can use within your documents. So for this case, an example will be your director minutes and resolution. In your CAS 360 dictionary code, it will show to you a description of that particular code. What is that data? What is that code? And where is it pulling out from? So for example, if you want to display the company name onto your documents in your templates, you will need to use this particular code, and this particular information is pulling out under the general details. So right over here, let's say example, this information over here. So anything that you've input in the company name will display on that document template using this code over here. So it'll give you all where the information is coming from. So always make sure that those informations are accurate and correct before utilizing these codes to populate the information onto your documents. So I'll use this example as director minutes and resolution, as this is one of the commonly used documents. So I'll give you an example over here. So we'll go back again to your settings and select document template. You can use your global search. So here I'll type in director to simply search for that document file. And here I will select director minutes and resolution. So you can see in that particular category, the document set, you have two master template. One is director minutes, your standard, and you have the single column format of director minutes and resolution. These are system default documents, which means that these are documents provided by CAS 360, and you can simply export that out to customize your own version and upload it back onto the software. So what we'll do is we'll select Option tab to download one of the documents template. And you'll see I will get a Word document format. So what you'll notice over here is that they have a lot of very interesting codes all over the documents. They might not be familiar, so don't worry about this because this one is essentially just a code to call out the data onto your document. So instead of typing in the company name manually, you just simply use those codes so that it will fill up this information. So this is your standard format. Now, in Singapore format, obviously you have a different style on your header, for example. I'm just going to open up an example of my template. This is an example of my customized. So you can see that it's even the header itself is completely different. This particular document, I have customized this on my own to look exactly like the format of Singapore header style, director minutes and resolutions. So you can do that in that particular template you have just downloaded. So what I've done is I've just simply removed those texts. So this is an example. I'm just going to remove that. I want it to be displayed as Singapore style. Here, I'll just copy it one by one. So I'm gonna do exactly what I have done to that sample template that I already done. So just to show to you the process as well. And at the end of the session, I'll provide you this particular copy that you can upload onto your CAS 360 so that you don't have to customize it, your director minutes and resolution, but you can simply customize the body text instead. So I've got over here, so company name. So generally, we don't add in the address in your director and minutes resolution header. So I'm just going to skip that. I'll just put this thing in as well, just in case, and document name. So just like that. So what I wanted to do is similar to the Singapore style. So definitely you will have your own templates, including the additional text over here for Singapore. So you can just simply copy and paste it from your templates and paste it into that downloaded CAS 360 director minutes and resolution template. So here I'll add in this section. We also like to put in the company registration number text. So I'll put it over here. Here, I need to change this code and make sure I copy the correct one, which is your company number. You can add in the company as well. So here, I'll just put it right below this text. And I want to add in the in writing pursuant to the constitution of the company. So I can simply add this text over here, copy this text. And input it right next here. Now, majority of the times you don't like to add in your date, so you can just remove that if you do not wish to. Just make sure everything is in line. So it will look something like this. Now, I want to also make sure that I want to adjust the look of my text. For example, let's say over here, I want it to be bold, just like my text over here. Similarly, I want my company number to be bold, so I'll just make sure and utilize the bold function in my Word documents and also my company name so that it matches up. All right, so now it's all bold. Now, in this particular customization, sometimes you want to make sure that some of the text, like your company name, document name, are all in uppercase. Unfortunately, you can't do an uppercase over here or change all this text into uppercase. What you'll need to do is you will have to go back to your CAS 360 dictionary. So again, to go to your CAS 360 dictionary, go to your help guide, select Singapore help, and select CAS 360 dictionary. Because I'm working on a director minutes and resolutions, I will need to select specifically director minutes and resolutions. So these are the codes that I will need to use when I'm customizing director minutes and resolution. So for this case, what I want to do on those texts is an uppercase. To use an uppercase for your text, like an example, a company name, you can simply scroll all the way down and search for this particular article called miscellaneous, right over here. This is right after the business activity. You will see miscellaneous. The miscellaneous codes will actually help you to change how you want your text to appear, whether it's an uppercase or a proper case. And here it will show to you the type of code that you can insert. And it also demonstrates to you how to input that particular code. So here I'll use an example. I'm going to just use this code over here. And I need to make sure that the existing code in my template is within this code that I've copied. So I'm just going to copy that section, select that, go to my text. Again, this text over here, the company name, I want it uppercase. So I want to make sure that I'll input it correctly according to the instruction. Similarly, I want this document name to be uppercase as well, because if you were to generate this document, it will be in a lowercase and the rest of your text paragraph, this text sentences will be in uppercase, right? So the similar process, you will just need to make sure that you insert those codes and insert them in the right process on the right location. So I'm happy with this text. I can just remove this part over here. So now you have a Singapore style header over here. So you can just add in your, let's say I'll put in my insert a line, for example. It's going to insert a line over here, or whichever how you want it to do, right? No, so that's already your header for your director minutes and resolution. Now, one thing you'll also notice in this document template for a director minutes and resolution is that you have all the paragraphs for all director minutes and resolution, whether it's an appointment of officers, resignation officers, any share transaction, and also including your AGM documents. Because AGM documents, it requires a director minutes and resolution, those texts will also be saved under this templates as well. So if you want to customize your director minutes and resolution for AGM, this can be found in the same Word file. So unlike most of the practice in your own practice, you have another Word document just for the AGM. In CAS 360, all the texts for simply a director minutes and resolution are all saved in one single Word document. So for this case, here is for the AGM. If you need to customize your audit exempted AGM text, it's over here as well. So not only for general AGM, it's also for your annual returns, appointment of auditors, your dividend. As long as it's a director minutes and resolution, it's all here in one Word document. Now I'll do an example for a appointment. So let's say I'll scroll all the way to appointment of an officers, an example. So this one will do a very standard word right over here. So usually this is your standard template. It's a very basic, simple text. And depending on your practice, you want to add in some of additional text or paragraph in that as well. So I'll just add in additional text. This is a simple, and you have your appointment directors with appointed date as well. Now, again, this can be customized if you want the text to look a little different. Let's say I want all of these to be, let's say, Times New Roman. I can change that in Times New Roman. Right here. I can bold this as well. And if you recall, again, if you want this to be uppercase, you can adjust it to uppercase by inserting that miscellaneous code. So I'm going to go back to my text over here. I'll just simply do a very simple one, this section right here, to highlight to you, just to show to you how we'll display. Now, in this sentence, one example is, let's say I want to display the company's name in my text paragraph for a appointment of director. So what I'll do again, I'll go back to my director minutes and resolution CAS 360 dictionary. And here I'll scroll the way up and select these. So copy the company name, go to my Word document. I can put in over here, this is the company name. Let's customize that later on. So I'll just put in company name. I also want to add in the UEN, for example. So again, you can simply go back to your CAS 360 dictionary and input that and insert the code to call out your company UEN. So here I'm just going to select and change the Times New Roman. I'll make it bold. I want to display my company name to uppercase. So if you recall, we'll do that code again. So let me see the code. So we'll scroll the way down under miscellaneous. So you can see this is the code for miscellaneous. So that my company name will be in uppercase. That's how I want to upload. Now, you can do that to the rest of your text paragraph for director minutes and resolutions. And once you're ready, you can simply save this template. So I'm just going to save it as it is. And now I'm ready to upload my own customized template back onto CAS 360. So again, we'll need to go to your settings, document template, and select director minutes and resolution. Here you will need to select upload and select your customized director minutes and resolution template. Now you have the option to set this template as your default template so that every time you generate a director and minutes resolution for companies, your customized template will appear. So I'm going to just set this as a default by selecting my option, set as default. So we'll use an example of one company. We'll do the same company that we've created yesterday. Leave green. And I will do an officer's appointment. So again, I'm just going to simply reprint one of my appointment of officers. Because I've customized the appointment of director, so this should display my text paragraph for appointment of director. So you now can see that your customized template has now been displaying on your director minutes and resolution. So as you can see here, you can now see that leaf green is in uppercase with your client's company name, the UEN, these are my additional text, and also my appointment. Now, to go back to your default, if you do not wish to use this particular template, you want to use the system default template, you can always simply go to the options of that particular document and select it under your document template drop-down option in your document production. So you see I have master template, which is your system default, and you have your own customized template option as well for you to select. So if I want to return back to the system default, for example, I can simply click save. And if I were to preview my document again, you will see that it will switch back to the standard system default setting. So you can add as many multiple text settings or document templates as you want under your settings document template. So an example over here. So now that I have one section here, I can simply upload another one that I have customized for myself. This is an example. I can put as many director minutes resolution template as I want and switch it. You can also tag or label a tag depending on the team. So for example, this particular team is using this template for all the clients under this team. And again, you can also set it as a default. If you don't want to remove that, you can simply remove. All right, so any questions for document templates before I proceed for the customization of email template? Now, I do have my own templates available as well. If you wish to have these, right, I'm going to send you my sample so that you can simply go to your director minutes and resolution, upload to test out. You can also use this template to customize, to start adding in your own customized text paragraph ready for your firm. Now, next topic will be your email templates. So email templates customization is a little bit more straightforward. So you won't require to download a Word document. You can simply customize it within CAS 360. A good example will be your annual general meetings reminder. You can create as many templates as you want so that every time you send a reminder for AGM, you can select the templates. So here an example for me, I have this version 1.0. My version, I've added in the company name and company number on my title. And if you want to add in more text or even your email signature, you can simply copy in and paste that as well. Similarly, for your annual returns, so I have different versions of annual returns. And you can simply update it if you make the changes. So if I were to add in any text, for example, I can simply click update. If you want this particular template to be the default template sent to your client, you can simply make this as default. Now, in your CAS 360 dictionary, if you go back onto that list, you can also find all the codes available for customizing email template. I will share this on our webinar chat as well, so that as you practice your customization, you have a reference of the codes and where to locate them in your CAS 360 dictionary. All right, so any questions for email template? All right. Now, next I want to cover will be this particular setting over here called automated reminders. Now, in CAS 360, you have the ability to set a bulk automated reminders to your client under your AGM. So there are two ways to set your reminder. One is for your AGM. You also have under Singapore jurisdiction for your annual returns. So one of the most commonly asked is, how do we set a bulk AGM reminder to be sent to my clients? So I'm gonna go through first your AGM reminder. So in the AGM reminder, you need to make sure that first you switch on the toggle button. Otherwise, this will not enable the reminders for you. Once you've switched it off, you can now set up multiple reminders, whether you want it to be 90 days before your AGM due, 60 days, or 30 days, and so on. To set up your automated AGM reminder, you can select your days before deadline. So for this case, I've selected 90 days. And you can also change when you want to send this reminder. So if I want to change it to at 11 a.m., send by an email, and the deadline is AGM due date. You can also change based on the financial year end, if that is the deadline date. Whichever you want, you can select that. And here you have the email template. As you've also noticed that I have multiple templates. So just like the once an email template that I covered earlier on, so any templates that you set up or created in each of those categories will appear in your dropdown. So currently right now, I've set it as a default. If I want to use my other customized template, I can select that and click Save. You can also select the sender, whether sending it from your username account, and also select whether to send it to the signing contact only, signing contact, and also company directors, or only to company directors. Now, very, very important to take note that before you're setting up your reminder, a very good practice is to always make sure that your company dates in your general details are correct and true. Otherwise, you will be sending wrong reminders to your client. So that's how we set about AGM reminders to your client by CAS 360. Now, another reminder, as I mentioned, will be your annual returns. So this is available under your document reminder and under the tab annual returns. Here you will need to switch on the jurisdiction Singapore to enable this particular annual return bulk reminder. So for this case, instead of a 90 days for annual returns, it will be based on the 30 days. And again, you can set up multiple days, multiple reminders, up to 6 reminders. Once you've set this thing up, this will do a bulk reminder 30 days before the annual returns for all the companies in your CAS 360. So this is how we set up a bulk reminder on CAS 360. Now, one last thing before we end up, this is additional topic that I want to cover, as you may or may have not know about this. So we have another feature in CAS 360 called freeform. So freeform documents is where you can create your own templates which are not within the standard templates of CAS 360. So for example, an engagement letter, we don't provide engagement letter templates within the software, so you can add that particular template onto CAS 360. First, to do that, so I'm just going to just simply delete this first. When you're first starting off with CAS 360, you'll be in this page. Now, the first steps that you'll need to take when creating a freeform and preparing a freeform document is first that you want to create the freeform documents and select Create New Freeform Template. This will then open a page called Create Freeform Documents. So you can type in your document titles, document style, document type, and whether a specific jurisdiction. So for example, I want to type in engagement letter, document style, so you can select whether it's minutes resolution, letters, or freeform. When selecting the first two, this will create a standard layout of your minutes resolution or the system layout of letters. But if you want your own specific layout from your Word document, you can simply click on Freeform. Document type, is this document on a company level type, or is this particular document on a individual contact type? So if it's a company, simply select company. And here I will just select Singapore. You can also apply multiple jurisdiction as well if you want to add it in, and click next. So if you have your own, let's say, engagement letter, you can just simply copy and paste. I have add in some information. This is an engagement letter. You can add in your title, so it's easy for you to locate this when you want to reuse this template again to other companies. So add in more text so you can see how it looks like. You can also insert the link, add in some image if you want to add in your company logo in the letters. And once you've done that, you can simply go to next to preview how the document look like. So once you are ready to process, you can either save this. This will then save into your document templates, or simply save and proceed to prepare the documents. So here I've got my engagement letter. So I'm now ready to use this particular document template for multiple companies. So I'll use the same company leaf green, and also let's say I'll use CAS 360 Singapore. And click proceed. By selecting this company, I've now created an engagement letter for those companies. So an example over here, Singapore, CAS 360 Singapore, I have my engagement letter, and I can simply click prepare forms to preview and export or prepare my engagement letter. Now, to reuse the same template that we've just created for your other companies, you can simply click on Freeform and click Prepare. This will allow you to search for that template, example, engagement letter. And you can see I have two types of engagement letter. These ones that we have just created and saved, I can use it again for other companies. Now, another very quick tip when using the freeform is that you can also use this particular feature to create things like your financial year end changes, and also if there's any involuntary for Australia. This is more specific for Australia. So this is one of the commonly ones where if you need to do a change of financial year end resolutions, you can simply select that template. Again, the process is the same. I will need to select the company. I'll use 111 Corporate, for example. And this will prepare the change of financial year end for 111 Corporate. So I'll share this documents again also on the free form so you can explore. If there are documents that you want to prepare for your clients, but you can't prepare it using the CAS 360, simply add those in your free form documents. So I'll share this particular article in the webinar chat so you can have a look and explore this tool. And also this free-form documents CAS dictionary tool that you can utilize as well as you prepare or create your own free-form documents. All right, so that is pretty much for our CAS 360 level 2 section. Any questions for this particular topic? All right, any questions? All right. Now, just a very quick, summary. Just want to share to you these. Sorry, here some last imparting message before we end these sessions. Don't be afraid to explore the CAS 360 features. As for the past couple of days, we've gone through quite a range of features in CAS 360, from managing your data, preparing the documents, to preparing your AGM documents, or even doing multiple company changes and those. So there's a lot of features that you can use in that. And don't be afraid to explore, as because the more you use and practice CAS 360, the more you become good at using the software as a part of your business as well. And yeah, it helps you empower your team, your business to become champions of digital transformation innovation for CorpSec. So I hope our lessons for level 1 and level 2 will help you to use the software and also help you with your workflow as well. All right. So if you have any questions, we'll be here in a couple more minutes before we end, so we can go through any topics that you want to go through before we end the session. Right. So thank you, everyone. for this session. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email, reach out to us via the support channels, or simply give us a call if you have some topics that you want to discuss. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening ahead.